Jay, she's a natural at this. Like,
Oh.
we're going in. People are in here, so that's all we got. And the thing is, us showing up in this space this is just us. You are getting us.
Right, no scripts.
This is what I love about this. Because this was us taking a chance.
Right.
And just saying, you know what? Let's just do it and let's see what happens. So now we're seeing what happens. Hey, Sweat 75. Hey there.
Hey, Key.
So, cheers to us.
Cheers to us.
Why not?
And this is just tea. I know I said bring your bourbon. But
and guys,
I'm drinking tea tonight.
Right. But we ain't judging. Whatever you want. Look, what y'all sipping on over there? Like, because we want to know, too. Like, it's beyond 5 o'clock somewhere. Okay? So.
All right.
So, we are going to go ahead and jump in. So, first of all, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Women of Exodus Roundtable, the beautiful reset edition.
Beautiful reset.
Y'all like that name?
I think that's what we'll go with.
Tell us what you feel about that. We're gonna let that marinate in the chat, and y'all tell us how y'all feel about that. But anyway, so I'm Kidada,
and I am Nicole, and we are so happy that you could join us tonight. For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. And for those of you joining us again, we thank you.
And you guys are joining us live. Let us know where you're joining from. Like, where you at? What city you in? What set you repping? All the things, right?
We won't judge your set.
Look, and we say that often because that's a real thing. Look, ain't none of us here to judge nothing and know nothing about anyone. So this is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So tonight's topic, I know for those of you that were in the room before we got started, tonight's topic, we are talking about the rituals we lost in relation to beauty and wellness, right? So I feel like we spend so much time talking about routine and the routineness of our days, whether it's our habits, getting our kids ready, skincare, hair, night routines, morning routines, all the things. But somewhere along the line in that, we got away from the things, the rituals of what we used to do, right? Because when I talk about when we talk about the rituals we lost, the first thing that comes to mind for me is what it was like growing up as a kid in beauty and wellness and all the things that we used to do to take care of ourselves that were passed down to us.
Right. And when I think about those things, I think about my community, right? Mm-hmm. How have I disconnected from my community, or how connected am I to my community? And when we started talking about this, it really made me think of some of the things that I miss, some things that I may want to reincorporate into my space.
Or pass down.
Yes. So I think we were talking about this and talking about how this is soul food for the soul and, all those things. But this is real. Like friendships, family, you want to bring in rituals, right? That are meaningful. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, because of our routines, we miss the ritual. We let go of those connections and those rituals.
And I think when we talk about the rituals we lost, and when we say beauty routines, but it's ironically enough, this is a conversation Nicole and I were actually having, with our guys about this,
not even thinking they have. Of course, they have their routines and their rituals, but
they have a grooming
experiences with their community.
Talking to my brother.
Just talking to my husband, he's like, listen, and his friends, when we go to the barbershop, we just want a haircut. We don't need all that banter. Do not cut those clippers off. Keep going. Whereas for me, and probably you, we want that conversation.
Yes,
and
I miss that.
I miss it.
I miss that too, and I feel like, and I know you guys have probably heard me say this before. I grew up in a salon. My mother owned and operated a salon as long as I can remember. And I just remember sitting on the stairs of that salon and watching her work. Now, what I loved about it is because I would see my mom in her element. She loves all things beauty, fashion, all the things. And the women, like, that salon was packed every week. And on Fridays, it was packed, but not to the point where the women had to wait. I mean, she kept them going, right? And they were like glad to be there. And I would learn so much just sitting on the stairs, watching and listening to the conversations. And how many of those women still check on me and ask about me through my mom, you know? So it was a sense of community that lived there. And remembering, like, on the Friday nights after the salon shut down, my mom's girlfriends would trickle in. Then they would come and get, you know, the after hours, get their hair done, and then what the conversations and how that transitioned later on. So it was just a sense of, like, doing this together and not feeling alone. Do you feel like now it's more of less community, more isolation? Well,
LaTanya just said salon suites and deposits killed the salon community.
Oh my God, that's such a good point.
I feel like there's a SOP, right? A standard operating procedure to, you know, get into a salon. First of all, you pay a deposit. When you get here, there's no talking. Like, what? The community that I'm from is, you come in, you know, I just remember going to the salon and God rest her soul, Toy was my stylist. I would get in there at 8 a.m. and probably, I would leave at like 4. She you know, planning wasn't the best.
We were doing shifts in the salon.
Right, but within that time, somebody ran to get some food.
Oh my gosh,
you know
the vendors that would come through.
Oh my God. Oh, we're calling them vendors now.
Of course, that's the word that we call them. But then, you know, like, I don't know what the word
where I was from, they were boosters. I'm sorry.
No, that was...
But
the ones that were selling the clothes, maybe.
I mean, I could get some
what about the ones that would come through and bring the snacks? Because they know you doing a shift there. Girl. So they're going to bring in a good dinner. They're going to bring in all the
stolen
things to
steaks.
Eat. Look,
right?
But we got fly here.
Right.
Look, it was
the
a one-stop shop.
Oh, yeah. But... you know, it didn't feel all day sometimes because I was there with my girlfriends. Yeah. We connected. We ate together. We talked about who was doing what that evening, that Saturday, that Friday night, who was going to meet up to go to church or brunch the next day. So, you know, I just feel like when, you know, like LaTanya said, when you're in those salon suites and it's you and one other person, what's the connection? Are you connected to that person, or is this just where you're going to get your service?
Well, you know what? And I think we had to kind of realize this part, right? When did we realize that some of those things and some of those things stopped? Because for me, like, because when I think about what beauty was in community, it was more about, like, I remember, like, there was a standard time of the week where we were, like, at my grandmother's house, or we were in the salon and getting our hair washed and pressed for whether it was church or an event or whatever it was that was going on. And then, like, interacting with our mothers and aunties and extended family and learning certain things from them. Like, the one thing that will never go away from me is my grandmother used to always tell us, do never leave the house without your earrings and your lipstick. And that was the rule, that was the standard, and we better not be caught anywhere outside with our inside clothes. Like, we had to present a certain way. That's just how we grew up.
Right, and you had a salon at home. For me, my salon was my kitchen. It started with my grandmother. She did my hair. Was it cute? It was bumped, right? I had that mushroom for a while. But then it transitioned to my sister. My sister was 12 years older than me.
So these are all the people that taught you how to care for yourself. Okay,
right.
Got you.
And so it started there, and then it transitioned to my sister, who was 12 years older than me. So I was like her baby doll. So she would do my hair maybe 3 times that day because she didn't like how that style. But what it taught me from both of them was you take your time. You want to look You want to be presentable.
absolutely.
And my sister would not stop until she thought I looked good.
Right. But you needed that because that was mentorship, right?
And as she got older, I mimicked her. So every Sunday, you washed your hair, you did your nails, you groomed for the week. And, you know, I carry that now. I've passed that down to my children. Like, you need to be groomed. There's
Absolutely.
no reason not to.
100%.
But that's where we pick up our rituals. Now, I'm going to kind of give some definitions of how we can kind of separate rituals from routines. But I would like to hear from our audience.
Let's look in the chat. So
Yeah.
Latanya says hi.
Well, I love Latanya. She said, I don't know that lady at the salon
right, that
suite.
we are not connected.
Right.
And that is literally the attitude, unfortunately, that breaks my heart. Because again, it was like the community has been so lost in all of this. And I agree, Latanya. Like, the connection is not there.
So when we think of routines, we're thinking of things that we do out of habit. For example, I get up in the morning, I'm showering. That should be a habit. You know, I'm exercising, habits, but
So would you describe that more though, Nicole, as a routine versus a ritual?
A routine. Those are my routines.
Okay, got you.
Right. But I use exercise as an example. Exercise can also be a ritual, right? I want to be intentional about certain things, and that's where our rituals come in.
Okay.
I want to be intentional about how I present. I want to be intentional about what I look like before I leave. Right.
But why is that important, you think? Because when we talk about a ritual, and you talked about the intentionality of a ritual, right? Mm-hmm. Why is that important to not just beauty, but I think also from a wellness perspective?
Right. It gives me a sense of confidence.
Okay. Self-worth.
It sets me up personally. And if you look at it from a wellness perspective, we're going inside. Mm-hmm. So we've talked about this before. Yes. A lot of things we're presenting on the outside, but if I feel great on the inside first, mm-hmm. you know, I'm not going outside in a bonnet. I'm not going outside in my scarf.
Yeah, it's a no for me.
Right. That's going to be a whole other episode. But my scarf, even if I have a scarf on, you're not going to know it's the scarf that I wore to bed because I'm going to tie it up. It's going to look really cute. And I was intentional about that.
Yeah,
so, right. So what are some of your rituals? What are you intentional about when it comes to beauty and wellness and all those things? What are you intentional about? What are your rituals?
Gosh. Like, my non-negotiables now for me are my prayer and meditation time in the morning. That is a non-negotiable for me. I feel like ever since I've transitioned from the corporate space into a space of entrepreneurship, mm-hmm. it's been even more important to me to protect that time, because I just remember, like, when I was on a regular schedule, going to work every day, doing all the things that I totally lost that time for me. It was no time for me because I would eat, sleep,
so you were in a routine.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. When it came to like work, I eat, sleep, breathe, work. That's what I was doing because mm-hmm. that's how much of my career that was tied to my identity. Right. So now I don't start my day. I can't answer text messages, emails until that part of my day happens. Then you know, thank God for my husband, because he also makes sure that I do some type of workout, mm-hmm. Whether it's just deep breathing for a minute, yoga, stretching, boxing, like all of those things are intentional for me now, because I have to have a certain calm or peace to start my day, knowing what I'm going to face.
Right.
So,
and what I like about that, we talked about losing part of the community
mm-hmm.
in our rituals, is that your husband is your like accountability.
Yeah, he is my accountability partner.
Right. And I mean, he can be your accountability partner in a lot of things, but certain things when it comes to us as females, right, we're missing those pieces. So how do we get back to that? Like LaTanya said, she goes to a salon suite and she's in there and her stylist has in her earbud, and for 2 hours she's talking to her mom. You know, there is no connection there. You go to get your hair done. You're in there with your iPad because maybe you're trying to finish some work. And so we lose that. But how do you get back to that? And is there a way to get back to that community?
I think it is. But again, in the space that we're in now, the word intentional still comes to mind for me. We have to be a little bit more intentional about it because there are so many things vying for our attention. And I think even when we talked about last week, like on our last live, like when we were talking about decluttering and how do we get those moments of stillness and being in a salon with other women or being in the kitchen with our grandmothers and our aunties, that was the time that brought us all back together, right? So I just think that we just have gotten so busy and inundated with all the things that the industry is feeding us, right? Because one of the things, you know, coming from the beauty industry, I think the industry has gotten really good at selling us on products because I think I get exposed because we're both like product junkies, okay? So we're just going to be real vulnerable, put that out there, transparent. So let's see. Hi, Nicole, you got somebody who looks.
Hey, Monique. That lip liner you just said, why do I have this?
Listen, because the
industry got me. Industry got me.
Yes. So like, I think they're really great at selling us product and giving us that. But the one thing that a brand has yet to leverage is the community behind it.
Right.
And not just a following, not just people in the comments, but what is it, what are we connecting on with this product? Is there a common problem? Is there some, you know, all the things, or like, what is it that's like the feeling that's missing behind it? And I think that's something that we have to capture again. It's the feeling that being in community in those spaces, whether it's beauty or wellness or whatever, that brings us back together.
And that's why I think the wellness piece, the reset piece, the beautiful reset, like getting back to what it is that you need. Like you said,
the self-care piece. So do you think self-care, so we've confused a little bit of self-care with a self-isolation? Like, what are your thoughts on that as a therapist? Like, how do you answer that? Like,
this is actually National Self-Care Awareness Month. And so what I am trying to relay to individuals is kind of take an introspective look into what it is that you need. It could be as simple as, am I drinking enough water? Right? How does the little things that we are missing, how am I connecting to my child? Have I communicated effectively? You know, instinctively, we just go about our day. But intentionally, we have to get back to doing those things that we need to make us well.
Absolutely. And then therapist 0703 says we lost the connection and focus now on social media. The distraction.
Right. It is
absolutely, I agree.
Distraction. And so how many of us
not all bad, but
yeah, because you can kind of filter through social media and get what you need, but you have to be intentional about scrolling past those things that don't feed into your wellness.
So I want to ask you guys, so what's one of those beauty rituals from your childhood that you feel like has disappeared and something that you might want to bring back now that we're having this conversation, now that we're speaking about it? What is that one ritual for you all that you feel like you want to kind of bring back from your childhood? So do us a favor and drop that in the chat so we can talk about that as well too. So
and while they're doing that, I'm going to give you one thing that I miss and don't miss at the same time, because two things could be happening at once.
Yes, it can.
I just remember my grandmother pressing my hair. That hot comb was so hot. I remember, like, sizzle, But and as much as I didn't want to get in that chair on Saturdays,
you look forward to it, kind of. I don't care what the
that.
risk was.
Like, if I could bring that back,
I was gonna be cute afterwards.
If my sister in the kitchen, my mom in the kitchen, my grandma in the kitchen, somebody stopped by, just being that child in that space, that's what I miss. You know, I have a daughter. She's 22 now. We had a ritual. The ritual was she had this huge box of barrettes and her combs and everything you could think of. And Sanaya calls me Cole. And I would say, Sanaya, go get your box. And she would sit down and I would get the brush. The brush would not be near her. And she would just say, ouch, Cole, ouch, Cole. So those are memories that we still talk about today. But that was our ritual. I did Sanaya's hair. She sat between my legs on a pink IKEA stool.
But do you see what a visual picture that painted for you? Because the memory is there. Exactly. The nostalgia of it all.
Now, is Sanaya going to allow me to do that today? No, but I have that memory, right? And I can still enjoy conversations about hair care and skin care with her, and that's community. But getting totally away from that, you know, I think we need to get back into some of those rituals.
So, we got a comment.
Greasing my scalp. Hey, Aaron.
Absolutely. Greasing your scalp. It is nothing like the sensation of, you know, like my mom or like my auntie just kind of massaging my scalp with the hair grease. It's something about that was just therapeutic, right?
And I actually just did that for Grant last week. I greased his scalp.
And see, and you know what? And it's interesting because some of those things that, you know, that we used to enjoy have come back. Like, and I think about that because I think about that with my boys. Like, they had dreads and do all the things, and then they needed retwist and scalp greased and, you know, detoxing, all of those kind of things that I enjoy doing with them and showing them how to care for themselves in that space as well too.
That's who I am, Mom. Can you wash and blow dry and grease my scalp? I just did it last week. So, you know, that's community. And while I'm doing his hair, we're watching anime, which I don't enjoy, but it's just the time spent.
Right, but it's the time.
It's the time.
It's the time.
Definitely.
Because definitely one of the things that I think about now, and going back to your point about the way we experience beauty rituals now, because one of the things that I never had a problem with growing up, like once I left home and had to find a new hairstylist and all those things, like, because I'm used to like, okay, going to my mom's shop, I got to stay in an appointment, get it done, and I don't have to wait. Like, my mom did not play about her clients waiting, right? And now it's just so many rules, and let me know if any of you have experienced this. There's just so many rules. Latanya already said it.
I don't know that lady.
When it comes to signing up, right? Like, I just to make an appointment, you got to go through all the fine print before I go get my hair braided or, you know, whatever it is that I'm going to do. I'm just like, you know what? Before I have to go through all of that, no. And then every little thing is an add-on. Like, I don't know what it's like to make a hair appointment and get my hair done and not have a shampoo. Like, what? That's extra? Or I have to come with my hair shampooed and blow dried? Blasphemy. Like, what? you gotta be kidding me. Like, what do you mean? It's not part of this high price that I'm about to pay you?
Well, listen, I've been
unlicensed, and that's a whole nother conversation, but we'll get there.
I have been in the Atlanta area since 2005 now, permanently. So you guys do the math. I have not had a permanent hairstylist. Now, I get my hair braided. I've been going to the same person for 16 years. But I have not found the community that I need. And so a lot of times I have learned to trim my own ends and, you know, those types of things. But it's just been very hard for me. So I like a certain style. Monique said leaving a deposit. Yeah, like what? God, I'm coming. I'm coming.
If I went through all of these profiles just to book you, you best believe I'm coming. So don't worry about the money. It's going to be there. Are you? That's what I need to know.
And after 15 minutes, In Atlanta traffic, I know some people, Monique is in Maryland. I don't know how traffic is there. Keisha's in New York. But yeah, give me grace today.
But not give you grace, because here I am, the paying client. If I gotta wait 15, 20 minutes for you, then what's the grace for me? Is that like... That part. You know, how does that work for me? Right. I'm confused. Right. So, but anyway, I digress. But again, if we could bring back like just one beauty thing that you feel like that a ritual that we need to have back today, and I think community is the overarching. You know, what would be that one thing in addition to you would want to come back for us today? And I don't want to just say, again, this is not just about women, because this is a thing for men too. Like, you know, grooming, going to the barbershop, having shop talk, you know, smelling good, all the things. This is a man thing too. So they are not exempt. What would you say needs to come back?
Outside of community, I think the rituals for yourself.
And y'all chime in. Right. Because what do you think needs to come back?
Maybe not. Think of something that you did in the past that lended to better wellness. Right? Like Kidada said, she's in her devotion every morning. Maybe that's something that you did. Maybe that was a ritual that you had, but life got in the way and you feel like you don't have time. We have to make time for these rituals that enrich us. Maybe it is for wellness purposes, eating healthier, thinking about your nutrition, thinking about the amount of sleep that you're getting, right? And if that's not happening, why? You know, a lot of people are suffering with anxiety right now. We are in a space where, you know, prices have gone up, but not our income. So what can we do? How can we show up for ourselves where it's not, because being intentional doesn't mean that you have to spend money, right? For me, and I might say this every time I get on here, what brings me joy is being in a safe space where I feel love. So look at your routines and think about how you can turn some of those into rituals that are intentional.
I like that. And it doesn't have to be something, so because we also want you guys to be thinking about what that looks like for yourself, and not just a skincare routine. But if you don't have one, I highly recommend that you do have one, okay? Because we are not out here wasting the pretty. That's not what we're doing, okay? So, but one thing I do want to do, and then we got a couple comments in the chat. So
Keisha says running and or going to spin class. That always makes her feel better. Right. Exercise, right? Those endorphins. It's
a necessity.
It is a necessity.
And not just even from a beauty or a physical appearance. It's a mental thing for me.
Definitely. Think about it. When you're running, you're more creative, like you're free, those types of things. Erin said journaling. Ugh.
Oh yeah,
right
I'm big on journaling too, Erin. Like I have tons and tons of notebooks. Like I have to write my thoughts down to clear my head. So and I love that.
From what I know about Erin, she is a pen geek. Like she goes to pen conventions, so she's serious when it comes to journaling. She's intentional, which is great.
And Monique had a comment in here too. Assessing a good ritual and not paying for the consultation.
Correct.
Huh.
Correct.
How about it?
That's smart. Right. Thank you for that, Monique.
And she also mentioned, look at our hair and educate us on healthy hair, drinking more water, etc.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I said. Like, what are you doing right now? Or what are you not doing right now that you can incorporate? Certain things that you were doing in the past, but it's just gotten away from you. Right? Those things that are ritualistic, that are healthy coping skills, right? We want to bring those back. So we talked about community. We talked about, healthy coping skills, healthy wellness practices, things that you kind of put down.
And I like that you said it's things sometimes that money can't buy. So like when I think about a routine or not even a routine, but more of a ritual for myself that I would want to bring back is just like having those family conversations. Like one of the things that I have to say that I absolutely love that we did as a family, and I'm thinking about not just my family from home, but like in other states, like one of the things that we did, we would get together like on Zoom and do
COVID
things and exchange. Or just
doors.
have those same conversations that went on in the salon, even when we're apart, we could be together.
Right.
Inviting our children into those spaces so they get to experiences, because I know we all grew up in the age of where we're seen and not heard as children, but I feel like there's certain things that I would love I would love my kids to experience, like they need to see it happen in action and experience so it can be a part of their routine. Moisturizing, washing your face, setting up a routine. I love that you talked about even like with your son that he has his own grooming routine that
it's
real. And he's just starting college, so
hair and skin. He is big on that, and part of the reason is that he does have acne. So we jumped on it pretty quickly, but he was very intentional about, hey mom, I don't like how this feels. I don't like how it makes me feel, and what can we do about it? And so that was one thing that that's one thing that he's very intentional about. And I'm proud. And I mean, he wants to look good, so his hair is always neat.
And that's important.
And that is important. And that's why it's important for us to be having these conversations with males and their perspective, because
exactly,
it's
not
moms,
just about
it's
daughters.
not just about us. We want to make sure that we're inclusive and hear from their perspective too. So
because it feels like what I'm hearing in all of this, that it's not just about products or those 12 to 50 step makeup routines that we're doing every day, or skincare. I don't got the time. We're not talking about that, but
4 products max, maybe.
Right, because life is very different now.
Right.
But it's less about the product and more about the missing one another, and how we connected to each other in this. And that seems to even be the theme in the chat.
But wait, if you are able to use more than 4 products, more than I am, I'm not judging you for that, right?
Oh, never.
However, how that makes you feel,
routine.
your routine is your routine.
Yeah.
But it is important to find a routine. It is important to be intentional about that routine, because, again, what we're talking about is how we feel on the inside. It is reflected on the outside.
Absolutely.
But we have to start inside. So whatever makes you feel good, go with that.
Yeah, because like we talk, and we'll probably say this over and over, and I know that we're coming to the end of our life, but also, I mean, when we talk about beauty and wellness, that's not something that's just meant to be put on, or what we put on ourselves or anything like that. I think it has more to do about the space that we're creating for each other, and if I'm booking an appointment, I don't care where it is, like the disengagement, the communication that happens in those spaces, or how you make me feel, I'll remember that more than the bomb manicure you gave me.
Right.
So and I know that's not just me. So I know that we have probably some sentiments in the chat as well too.
And that is my husband talking about only 4 because he knows what my makeup counter looks like. Just because I have 1 million products, I'm using 4 right now. So thank you, Jermine. Right,
G. I'm glad mine hasn't chimed in on that part. Look, you in my business. Don't do that. Don't be
And Monique said lip gloss and a little foundation. That goes a long way.
Listen.
She said she'd like to learn more beauty techniques. So where could she go, Kidada?
You mean besides
you? Because you're not accessible every day, but
no, she would like to learn more beauty techniques. But that's something that we can kind of get into, because I know, like, even from the from the wellness perspective, like I said, that's something that we both are super passionate about.
Right.
Like when it comes to we're going to see if we can make that happen for you, Monique. So stay tuned, you know? Okay. And then if you want to, you can DM us directly, or you can drop it in the chat here. Or if you want, like you said, if you want to reach out to us directly, please feel free to do that. Tell us what it is that you want to learn, what it is that you want to see, because I might be able to make that happen for you too. Okay. So let's talk about it. All right. So one of the things that I think that we probably the note that we can end on is just, we hear the word community all the time, right? So I want you guys to like really think about just the spaces that you're creating, not only around you but for yourself. You know, one of the things that I am definitely learning in this season is to pay more attention to me, and not in a selfish way, because again, we all have tons of responsibilities, but really, how do I feed me? What are the things, like you said, that we need
right
to be and look our best,
right,
you know, before we put it out to someone else or in the atmosphere. And
so for me, I have to be my authentic self.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, yes.
And I have to work at, I don't have to work at being authentic, because that's who I'm going to be. But for a lot of people, figuring out what that means, right? Mm-hmm. Understanding that I don't have to use layers to cover anything up. I was covering up my freckles. Why?
Listen, and people out here drawing those things on
they're
now.
Getting
so
tattoos.
You better not.
So there are certain things that we have to learn about ourselves and love about ourselves, and push through those things that we've heard in the industry, mm-hmm. or from other people. And so for me, tonight's episode, our conversation tonight, really resonates, not just about rituals and community, but what are we doing authentically for ourselves to be intentional with the things that we need to bring that beauty out, if that makes mm-hmm. sense. Agreed. So, and I think that's something that we all want you to think about. So I definitely want to challenge everybody this week to think about, what is that one ritual that you want to bring back from your childhood that you feel like would serve you right now? Also, how do you want to share it? Whether it's with your children, your girlfriends, or, you know, your mom, your dad, or your sons, because again, fellas are not exempt from them, because they are really putting more time and care and effort into how they present as well too. So, and I think that's something that comes from generationally being passed down. So there's something to be said about that. You know, we're hearing a lot of conversation around with the schools now, and how they are, putting some guardrails up about how kids are showing, how, the next generation is showing up to class and in our schools. So we got to think about those kind of things. So, and if you think you want to continue this conversation, or you feel like you want to hear more around this, or if there's other topics that you want to see Nicole and I discuss, because one of the things that we absolutely love is being able to share this time, because it's such a not only a space of like education and healing and growth for, we hope, for the people that join us, but really for us too. Yes, definitely. It's feeding us. This is definitely soul food for us too, because I feel like I need these times to just say woosah. And Monique just said she's coming to Atlanta to have a sleepover makeup. But here's the thing, I love it. The door is open, Monique, girl. Look, it's a little crowded here in the A, but we're gonna leave the light on for you, baby. But I like that. Get your girlfriends together once a month on Zoom and talk about what products you have, mm-hmm. and how do you contour, and what brushes are you using, and what cleanser to clean your brush. Right? Because that, I didn't even know that was something. Like, I'm going to tell you, something. I started off with Dawn. Don't roll your eyes. I felt judgment. Listen, don't. And listen, then I used another product. And then Kidada gave me a product. And it was like, oh. So, that community, that's something you can think about. Like, starting some type of beauty wellness connection with your girlfriends and talking about what you need and making it a safe space so that, you know, you just flowing.
Look, G says we have all the products.
Be quiet, Jermon. Oh my gosh.
So look, I think we're gonna wrap this up before we your host might give look. So again, thank you all for just joining us this evening on this conversation.
Yes.
So if this is something that you love and you want to hear more of, please like, follow, share this conversation. And this the full conversation, for those that missed it, just in case you want to share it, it will be on the Women of Exodus YouTube channel, where we'll have the full conversation listed. And just continue to just keep the conversation going with us. Like, we love spending this time with you, and thank you so much for spending your time with us this evening. So until next time, be beautiful inside and out.
And stay well.
Absolutely. Love you guys. I love you.
Love you too.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Bye.